Good morning. What's going on? SmartHelping.com here. Um, we're going to look at array formulas. And over the past few years, this has probably been the most important thing I've learned to use. It made my work just more efficient and better. And it's something for Google Sheets. Excel, I think they're working on doing this. They may have it for some users if you've got 365 with the special program within that. I forget what it's called, but everyone has access to it in Google Sheets. So we're going to go through all the different formulas that offer the use of an array. And the benefit of doing these is you don't have to drag down formulas anymore, ever again. Unless you're doing, I guess, index match doesn't have an array and some other ones. But for the majority of calculations you're doing, if you're working on an analysis of some kind of raw data, you probably want to use array formulas. So let's look at, we're going to start simple and then get more complex. So the first one is if you're summing or subtracting or summing and subtracting multiple columns. And this, let's just do a shipping cost example. Let's say you've got the cost of the product here is $3. The shipping cost is $6. What's your total cost? And you would just go array formula equals A2 to A plus B2 to B. And now, and you can even, if you don't want to see the zeros, you can put an if error around the array and go if error, do the array, or you could do if, hold on, not an if error. You can do if A2 to A equals blank, then blank. Otherwise, do the calculation. And now, here's a great thing about this. As you add data here, look at that. It automatically comes into the, I'll make this yellow so you can see it. Put labels here. So let's say this is shipping. No, unit cost, shipping. And you can see as I add stuff here, the array automatically calculates it. It's forever. You never have to drag down formulas as long as whenever data is added, the formula will pick it up and just do the calculation. You can even do, let's say you had a unit cost. Let's even get a little more complex and say you have a number of units sold. So let's say you sold 50 units here, 10 here. Now you've got a multiplication. So what you would do, so let's say this was just for the first one. Let's do a second one. It's going to do A2 to A times B2 to B plus C2 to C. And this is going to work just like if you were just like it's going to go left to right, or it's going to use PEMDAS, but then if you've got like different, if you've got multiplication division, it's going to go left to right, just like in the normal, if you're just doing a single row of cells. So 156, let's check that. So let's see. Well, yeah, that's right. 50 times 3 is 150, plus 6, 156. 10 times 4 is 40, plus 4. Let's say we only sold 5 here. So now 5 times 4 is 20, 24. And then I didn't add on the, oh wait, no, that's right. Yeah. So this is your cost if you just were adding 2 columns here. If you're multiplying and adding. You could also subtract. Let's say you wanted to go, for whatever you were doing, B2 minus C2 plus A2. See how you could do anything in here. So here's just adding and subtracting the columns. So pretty cool. Pretty cool arrays. This is going to save people time, hopefully, and make their work more efficient. Uh, Now, these are just the most basic. Let's move on to something a little bit more complex. So sheet 2, let's say you have a database here, color, um, size, ID, I don't know, red, blue, green, small, small, big, small. So now let's say you wanted to let's say you wanted to list let's say you wanted to look up things from a list dynamically. So let's say you've got these all should be different. A5. So let's say, and this is probably on another tab if you were actually doing it, but let's just say you wanted to see A3 here, A4. And you wanted to see, oh, hold on, normally the ID goes in the far left of something. So you want to look up the result of the color based on the ID. So you do array formula, Vlookup, F2 to F. So what's that doing is it's checking all the values in F, and it's going to return one value per row based on, and it's going to look for those here. So you just go 2, false. And then here's where you would wrap your if error, because it's going to just keep going down. Come on, these wireless mouse and keyboards sometimes get real annoying. Doesn't want to work. What did I do? Hit insert? Oh, come on. Struggling here this morning. Okay, what in the world? What did I hit? Usually it's insert that screws it up. I don't know what I did. Yeah, this is annoying. That's real annoying. All right, let's just start over. If error, array, vlookup, f2 to f, if a and b match false. There you go. So now you can pull, let's say this database was thousands of rows long. It had a bunch of IDs. You just wanted to look up the resulting color based on an ID. There you go. And if you added an ID, let's say I want to see now a 2. See red popped in there, A5, and so on. So that's the array for VLOOKUP. Uh, there's other VLOOKUP arrays that will allow you to VLOOKUP an ID and return like B, C, D, E, and F, like an entire row of stuff based on the ID. It's a little bit of a different type of array, but that's also possible. But I rarely use that because usually when I'm returning multiple rows or columns, I'll just use a filter formula or query. But this is a simple one where you've got a list and you want to return it based on the database, and you just don't want to drag the VLOOKUP all the way down. All right, so there's a VLOOKUP. Next, let's do a Sumif, and we can just do it right here. Let's say value. So I got some values over here, and I want to sum them up. I can just go. Now this took me a while to figure out because normally I just use some ifs with the s at the end, and I just always have done that even if it's just one criteria. But it turns out you actually can't do an array formula with some ifs. The last time I checked, like a month ago. But you can with some if with no s. So you can go some if, hold on, array formula, some if, and these are, I don't ever use this that much because I always go some ifs, but this is nice. If and it only works, so some if without an S means you only get one range criteria, and that probably has something to do with why this is the only one that works with an array. But so the range is going to be what we're testing. So we want to look at let's go size here. That would make the most sense. So C to the C is our range. Our criteria is going to be an I. I haven't put anything there yet, but it'll be I2 to I. And then what we're summing up is based on all that criteria is D2 to D. Okay, now let's say we put a small here. It should show up, return the sum of all small values. 8, there you go. So this is really nice because I can sum something based on a criteria and I don't have to drag it down. I use an array and it goes all the way, as long as I add data here, let's say I want to see big, it should only say 1, yep. Let's say add a couple more big things here. Oh, now you see the totals went up to 7 for big. So this is great. I've used all of these things in a bunch of different projects, and um, usually if you're working with a client and they've never seen this, you'll impress them, and it's just super efficient. And um, and there you have it. Let's think if I missed anything. Whoops. What did I just do? Oh man, I really shouldn't be doing this early in the morning. Oh, dang it. Shoot. See if it saved it for me. Yeah, it did. Thank goodness. All right, so array formulas here. Make sure we did everything. So we got the regular, just summing columns based on different things. We've got the VLOOKUP. We've got the SUMIF. What else? Oh, so another thing, I actually don't know if this is possible, but I want to test it out. So let's say you want to you want to use Countif. So I know Countifs with the S will not work, but let's see if Countif works with an array. I'm actually really curious if this works. So let's say I want to go and count how many times small shows up in this array, how many times big shows up in this array, and so on. Normally, if you're doing that or any type of thing like that, you have to drag the formula, the Countifs formula down. But let's try it without the S, meaning you can only do one criteria. So we're not like able to count if this is small and this is red or whatever, but if you're doing one criteria, this will work. So count if our range we're counting is here, C2 to C, if L2 to L is a match. Hey, that works. That's cool. Okay, so I've never used that before, and so it must be because I tried to do it with count ifs with an S. So that's nice. That's another should save you time. And if you're counting anything based on a criteria, you can do it there. And again, you can do if you want to put if L2 to L is blank, then blank, so you don't see all the zeros. And you can do that with this one too. If I2 to I is blank. So I'm gonna make this free, completely free. You guys can mess around with it. I'm gonna post it in the description box below the video, and that'll be that. I'm just gonna make these all highlighted here. Now, if you want to support me and check out more stuff I've done, just go to smarthelping.com. You can see I've done all kinds of models in Google Sheets and Excel. Um, The Google Sheet stuff is more in this area here for helpful tools and sales pipeline stuff. But you can check out everything I've done. You can donate if you want to throw me a coffee or whatever. Um, and I think that's it. So we got Countifs, Sumif, Vlookup. We'll make these red too, these formulas. And hopefully this makes your life a little bit easier working in Google Sheets. Okay, so all the formulas are in red with white text. All right. For more, go to smarthelping.com. All right. Well, I think that's it. Oh, this will be a view only, but if you want to edit it, when you go through the link, just go to File and then make a copy. Let's put that for edit access. Hit File, make a copy. All right. That's all I got for you. See you on the next one.